Hey Scorpios, it is Chris from Embodying Light, and welcome to your December 2017 reading. So bear with me, I need to take a sip of my beverage really quick because my throat's been really dry today. So hopefully you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful month so far. So I'm actually recording this reading at the end of November just so I can have it up for you guys in time for December. So I've already selected these cards and I'm using the Fountain Tarot. I'm also using Wisdom of the Hidden Realms and the Past Life Oracle as well. So I'm using these cards just because we're doing a lot of, especially with Jupiter and Scorpio, we're still, kind of doing a lot of unconscious work, a lot of healing work, a lot of digging up and releasing past wounds, patterning, trauma, just releasing and decluttering our energy fields. So I felt it was appropriate just kind of work with Wisdom of the Hidden Realms just so we can connect with energies that are kind of unseen, that are kind of behind the veil, as well as the Past Life Oracle. Just bringing up any kind of either past energies, which could be, current past, or it could be actually past lifetimes, things that have affected us over cycles of time that are up for clearing. So I'm going to open up this reading here by declaring this space sacred and protected. In a safe and protected space, calling in my highest guides, connecting with the energy of Scorpio for December 2017, giving you a clear view reading for your healing, your highest path, and your highest destiny. All right, guys. So the first card that's calling to me is the Empress here. And the Empress comes up in reverse. So what the Empress is kind of pointing out to me is that we may have had a lot of periods, a lot of cycles, a lot of experiences in our lives where we've depended on other people to give us a sense of satisfaction or to give us a sense of fulfillment. The Empress in reverse says to me, this is using other people's energies to kind of try to fill our own cups almost. There's a lot of emotional instability here with the Empress in reverse. Typically when the Empress is upright, which is the energy I feel we need to cultivate here in December, is feeling comfortable within ourselves, knowing that we're good enough to create the life that we want. There's a lot of emotional healing that will take place to shift from the Empress in reverse to the Empress that is upright. The Empress that is upright, she's someone that's confident. She's cultivated and she's created everything that she wants and that she needs in life. She's a creator. She's a giver of life. She understands what self-love is. She takes care of herself. She honors herself and she nurtures herself. She's very deeply connected to who she is. And that's the energy that I feel like Scorpios are cultivating this month. There's a need to go in and connect deeply within the self and understand who you are. Getting clear about what you want to cultivate in your life, what you want to create. I'm also feeling like there's a lot of triggers, and I feel triggers here with the Five of Wands. Um, this could be conflicts for some people with coworkers. This could be conflicts with people within your living structure. This could be conflicts with family members. Um, but this just represents conflicts with different people. It could be all the above. But the Five of Wands always is a reminder to, one, see the light in other people, and it's also given us an opportunity to learn how to work with people who, in energies that are different than our own. It allows us to cultivate compassion. It allows us to cultivate understanding. And this energy also puts us in a space where we learn how to stand up to for ourselves. I feel like sometimes with the Five of Wands, there can be a tendency to kind of not stand in your own power, to not stand up for your beliefs, and kind of back down because you don't want to deal with this energy at all. Like it's very, I feel like with Scorpios just being like in a water sign and being so empathic and sensitive, like sometimes they just don't want to deal with this energy. So they kind of, hide. They hide behind that and they don't deal with problems and they don't deal with conflicts. And sometimes, if they hold all that energy in, and Scorpios can very well, you know, become very emotionally unstable because they're suppressing their feelings and they're suppressing their emotions and not speaking their truth, that this can show up as an outburst from kind of suppressing and holding on to energy that should have been just kind of released as it presented itself. This is about also finding healthy ways to release energy and to express your feelings without harming other people. It's okay to, be upset. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to be angry because that needs to be expressed. That energy needs an outlet. As long as that's being expressed without harming someone else, that emotional expression is okay. And I think sometimes Scorpios can get uncomfortable within just understanding their emotions and understanding how to express their emotions. And I feel like in that avoidance um, of dealing and confronting people, we can find the Scorpios like this a lot, like the Knight of Cups, where it's like you're just alone. If you could see in this depiction, this guy, he's alone with his own cup, and there really isn't anything in the cup at all. So you're empty. This goes back to the Empress in reverse, where it's like, there's a need for the Empress to nurture and take care of herself. I feel a lot with the Empress sacral chakra healing for Scorpios this month. And, the main thing that's coming up for that sacral energy is knowing that everything you do is enough, that you're good enough, that you can create anything that you desire. And a lot of times, especially with the sacral chakra, when there's blockages in the sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra, remember, is a life force energy center. When that isn't in positive aspect within our energetic field, it drains all the other chakras in the body, leaving us tired. We can become very complacent. I feel like the Empress in reverse can also be like a complacent energy. Like, it's kind of like you may have the vision as to what you want to create, but you don't have the motivation or the energy to kind of go the distance with what you want to create because you're drained. But we look at this Knight of Cups that's kind of by itself. This is like, okay, I don't want to deal with this Five of Wands energy. I'd rather just be by myself. And doesn't he look like he's out in the cold? It's like, I'd rather be out in the cold dealing with myself than to deal with this energy. And that in turn just leaves you by yourself. So when you do need help, You know what I mean? Like you need help with a project. Or if you're, at work, or you're, taking on a creative pursuit, sometimes it takes help from other people. It takes input from other people to be able to cultivate and create what we want to manifest. We can't do everything by ourselves, but it's like, I feel like Scorpios have put themselves like in this category where I'm going to take on everything and I'm going to deal with everything by myself, so I don't have to deal with any like adverse energy that, they've kind of drained themselves because they've taken on so much energy. They've taken on so many projects. Not only that, Scorpios are very sensitive and very empathic, so you could also be taking on, and other people's energy. You may be taking on other people's energy by not creating like boundaries and not standing up for yourself. So you're not standing in your power. I feel like this looks like, the Knight of Cups looks very disempowered here. Just kind of like, if you can see his face, he's just kind of like, whatever. I'm just going to be out here by myself, not connecting with anybody. And that's how I feel. I also do feel that that's the trigger. Scorpios finding themselves by themselves and being uncomfortable with this is the trigger, I feel like, for December. I feel like, number one, this is an opportunity for Scorpios to connect deeply with themselves so they can understand what they need to cultivate within themselves to be this Empress. I feel like a lot of self-love is still needed here for Scorpios, taking care of yourself, especially emotionally, coming into balance with yourself. I also feel a lot of Scorpios, and I can't remember what other sign I said this for, but I also feel a lot of Scorpios getting energy healing this month, really trying to, balance their energies out and come into alignment as they're releasing. Scorpios are definitely a sign that, especially over the past 24 months, have, been through the ringer. We've had we've kind of taken the forefront, and I'm a Scorpio as well. We've taken the forefront of like really diving into our shadow and just really trying to transmute and do the healing work that's called for us. But you can understand, like, this Empress energy, when we come into balance and we come into alignment with ourselves, we're going to lead the way to provide these healing waters for other people. You may find a lot that Scorpios tend to be energy healers, empaths. They do readings. They're into Reiki, inner child healing, that sort of thing, like yoga, anything that's like wellness related. You tend to see like Scorpios attracted to, and it's like because Scorpios also have a great, ability to kind of heal and also be teachers to other people, using their experiences to guide other people into how they can heal and how they can step on their path. But it's hard to do that if you don't want to work with other people because you're afraid that, I feel like it's like other people coming up against your belief systems, and maybe you kind of backing down because you don't want to deal with someone kind of maybe putting you down. This could also be like, healing self-esteem issues, standing in your power. I feel like empowerment here as well, here for Scorpios this month. But I feel like there is a huge need for Scorpios to really relax, rest, and rejuvenate. I feel like a lot of Scorpios have been, their energetic systems have been in like overdrive, and they've experienced a lot of shifts, especially on a neurological level. And their body's trying to reset and to kind of acclimate to the changes that have taken place. So I feel like, just resting with this resting tree, just kind of rejuvenating, allowing these energies to kind of settle down so you can adjust and get used to them is really necessary. This is also being patient with yourself during this change, during the healing process, honoring, what your body is asking for, honoring what your spirit is asking for, honoring your heart, and being patient with yourself during this process. Being patient, with whatever's coming up for you at this time. I'm really feeling this energy of self-love here that is needed from this Empress in reverse. I keep feeling like very attracted to her energy, upright. She's confident. She can go the distance. She's patient with herself. She follows her dreams to fruition. She's guided by her inner knowing, her intuition. She follows her heart. And you can see it like in her energy field. If you can see this, like there's like yellows, very solar plexus, very like empowered, very confident. She has the drive to go after what she wants. And then there's a lot of pink, that's higher heart, She's allowing source, she's allowing the divine to come into her resonance, into her being, and stir her spirit to guide her and direct her on her path. This is an energy and a person who is in tune with their mission. So I really like that. I like that Empress's energy here. And, again, this is the divine coming in, helping you create the life that you want. This could be, your soul mission. This could be a business. This could be a family. This could be cultivating a relationship. I'm seeing spider webs here. I feel like, in order to really tap into this energy, there's a release that needs to happen here. I feel like Scorpios need to stand up for themselves. They need to stand more in their power. They need to also, with this Empress in reverse, I'm feeling like look at some areas of codependency in their lives, and how they are kind of using other people's energies to fill their voids. Hence why there is a need to connect more and with the self, and to nurture the self and practice more self-love here. It just really feels like with this energy that Scorpios are very connected, and they are hearing and they are in tune with the divine guidance that is coming through. Scorpios have received a lot of third eye activations, as well as third eye expansions in some cases. Just depends on the person. And I feel like Scorpios are starting to, and will start to understand more, especially this month, how certain patterns and things in their lives have created what they're experiencing in their lives, or the patterns and cycles of things that they are trying to release. Remember, we're going to be in retrograde during this period, so I feel like we're reviewing things that have also made us feel this way about ourselves, and we're healing those things and releasing them so we can come more in alignment with ourselves. We can get to know ourselves better. We understand who we are, and I feel like we come out more empowered. And I feel like especially when Mercury goes direct, a lot of Scorpios are going to be very, very clear about what their missions are. And they're going to take the initiative to make sure they're continuously cultivating their own energy. They're filling their own cups, essentially. So they have, the capacity, and they have the energy, and they have the love to be able to share with other people. Reminds me of the Ace of Cups, where, the water's spilling over to the cup. With the Ace of Cups, your cup's already full with so much abundance and so many blessings that now it's spilling over, and you now you have all this to share with other people. And that's how I feel with this energy, you know. I feel like Scorpios really need to fill their own cups, and they're recharging, they're regenerating here. The resting tree is like regenerating, and I said this before in another reading where I think it's in Star Trek Voyager, and I can't remember the role, but Jerry Ryan plays it, where she goes into that machine and she has to regenerate after a certain period of time. And I feel like that's kind of like what Scorpios are going through. They're going through a lot of cellular like upgrades. They're releasing a lot of cellular waste from things that they're trying to transmuting and burning away. I also feel a need for Scorpios to detox. And if you're not drinking a lot of water, drink a lot of water during this time. I know another thing that's come up for me is taking a look at cellular salts. So I'm not going to get into it a whole lot in this video, but feel free to look up and Google like cell salts. And it may or may not resonate with you, but if it does resonate with you, it's probably something that you should incorporate during this period of time. But I'm definitely getting a need to kind of detoxify during this time, and then, you know, kind of like your body regenerating and rebooting and adopting new eating habits that are beneficial to cellular renewal. I feel like this month again, and going towards the end of the year as we're going into the new beginnings with the new year, and 2018 is an 11 year in numerology, so we know 11s being signs from the divine, you know, conscious awakening, expansion, ascension energy, manifestation energy. So I feel strongly like in December, we're kind of in this void. We're like in the womb, you know? And in the womb, in this darkness, is where we plant seeds to create and cultivate what we want to create. And by kind of clearing out this energy and taking the time to kind of rejuvenate and heal ourselves, we are getting clear on what it is that we want to create. A lot of times when we take downtime and we're resting, think about like the vision quest as well, you know, and vision quest where you receive like, you know, divine messages that give you insight on your path or your mission. I feel like some people can be receiving again this month like insight into as to what direction to take in their lives, and you know, what their mission is. And moving forward with it. I feel like a lot of, you know, and on this card it says synchronicity. I feel like there's going to be a lot of synchronistic events. You can meet someone that, let's say you want to take a Reiki class and you are looking for the perfect teacher, and you ask the universe to guide you towards a perfect teacher, and then, you know, you put that out there, and then you go to the grocery store and you're talking to a lady in the line. She's just like, oh, you know, I'm a Reiki teacher. I actually have a workshop coming up, you know, next month for people or students who are interested in learning Reiki. Like, you may start experiencing things like that where you think about things you want to create or you want to cultivate or manifest, and you will notice that a lot of that energy starts to come in and starts to materialize. I feel like Scorpios are like magnets this month. So be very careful about the things that you're thinking about, that you're speaking into existence, because they are materializing. And again, my guys are telling me to point out that on this card it says, you know, cause and effect. So be very conscious about what you're speaking into existence, what you're thinking about. Be very clear on your vision. Make sure that your vision, your words, and your thoughts are in alignment with what you want to cultivate. And there's going to be something beautiful for you to celebrate at the end of this. You can celebrate this now. The more you are in a positive vibration, you know, magnetize your energetic field. You know what I mean? You're bringing in more light. You're increasing your light quotient. So celebrate. There's a need. Like, I feel like Scorpios have been like so heavy in this healing energy that they, stop having fun. This is like, go out and have fun. Do things that, make you happy. Watch a comedy. Go out like dancing. Like, I feel like this energy is like, be a child. Celebrate life. And you're going to bring all the abundance that you want towards you, because your vibration and your resonance is in alignment with this energy here. So I pulled some cards from the past life oracle, and the first one that came up is orphan. So this is about abandonment. This is about abandonment energies, and I feel like this is what a main theme of what's being cleared during retrograde. I feel like this is mainly about how we've abandoned ourselves. I think in any abandonment situation, whether we have legitimately been orphans or we've had relationships where we've kind of been left and we're still holding those wounds and holding those traumas, that when we get to the source of why we've manifested those relationships and situations with people, the main thing we always get to is that we've abandoned ourselves when we stop loving ourselves, when we stop standing in our truth, when we stop honoring, we stopped honoring ourselves. So there's a huge need here again to understand the root of what your abandonment issues are, because abandonment most certainly can lead to codependency, because now you're clingy, you're attaching to other people because, maybe you have a fear of being alone. Maybe you're alone, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't like this. This just, you feel so isolated, you don't want to be alone, and you feel like something's wrong with you because you're alone. And sometimes you have to be okay with it, knowing that there's times where we have to be by ourselves so that we can understand ourselves, so that we can connect with ourselves. By us always trying to reach out and connect with other people and kind of being codependent on other people, we don't allow ourselves to connect with ourselves. So we also have finances. So remember I was talking about, there's a huge opportunity this month and also going into January for Scorpios to manifest what they want. It's more than just finances here. We're also talking about abundance. And most certainly if you've been trying to cultivate and create financial success in your life, there's a huge opportunity to do so by clearing this dense energy that's here and making room to cultivate and create what you want. This is about planting seeds. This month, Scorpio, it's an opportunity to really plant the seeds and really visualize the life that you want, because yet remember, Jupiter is in Scorpio. So this is about cleaning up what needs to get cleaned out. And Jupiter is such an expansive energy. It can expand so much. So if we stay in a poverty mindset, it's going to expand poverty in our lives. If we clean up our energy fields, if we bring in more light, our resonance increases, and we become a magnet for what we want to create. If we become a magnet for, our abundance and what we want to call in, then Jupiter is going to expand that energy in our lives. This could be in love relationships as well. This can be anything that represents abundance for you, not just money. So then we have authority figures. Immediately when this card came up, this was really like judgment, like the judgment card in tarot for me. But this is like an awakening. Like, I feel like the book is being slammed down on you. I feel like there's going to be situations that come to a culmination point, that come to an ending. And, it's going to be in a way very, disruptive, awakening energy for some people. But the message here is that, there's a larger authority that's kind of ruling over this. This is a divine authority. It's kind of like, okay, like enough is enough. Like, it's time for this cycle to come to an end. Like, you can't keep going through like these karmic cycles and not being aware, not being awakened to what's going on. Like, you can no longer be passive in your life. You can no longer be in a state of like kind of like blame and like shame type of energy, this codependent energy. And it's time to change. We're kind of laying down the law here. It's time to move forward. And The last one we have is farm. And this for me was like connecting with nature, connecting with, um, it's kind of like being in tune with all that is, you know? Um, I feel like we get so tied up in the hustle and bustle of life and work and kids and school and coming and going. You know, this is why there's a need to slow down here and a need to rest and rejuvenate. But I feel like we don't take enough time to connect to nature, connect to the animals, connect to, you know, the trees, like whatever resonates with you, realizing that all of these energies have a healing impact on us. They help us understand things more deeply about ourselves. They help us understand how we are connected to everything around us as a whole. Um, so if you're someone that's, you know, if you feel very disconnected from yourself, this legitimately could be like go to a farm and like connect with animals. It could be maybe you've had an interest in like going horseback riding. This could be getting out in nature, that sort of thing. I feel like for a lot of people, either in a past life situation, like being kind of like, I don't want to say like like a farm is an isolated space because there's so much life. And I think that's the thing, like we don't realize that in places that are like isolated or farms or things like that, that there's so much more life and there's so much more like kind of like untouched energy that's in this place that can be used to kind of really rejuvenate and help us like kind of regenerate here. So, you know, I feel like overall for Scorpios, this is just really the big thing is like self love here. Like, really take the time, um, be okay with being alone here. I feel like, you know, be okay with being alone. Here's another card that says alone because it's giving you an opportunity to connect with yourself, to love yourself, and understand what you need. Understand what you need to be happy, what you need to bring more joy into your life. When you're happy and when you're joyful, like life just feels like a dance every day. Life feels like a song you can sing every day. And when you're in that resonance and when you're in that vibration, you're able to bring more into your life. You're able to cultivate and manifest quickly the higher your resonance and the higher your vibration is. So hopefully that resonated with you guys, Scorpio. And make sure as well, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video, this is for Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. So make sure you check your moon sign and your rising sign, just so you can cross watch. This is a general reading. So take from it what resonates with you, leave behind what does not. And again, if you would like a personal reading that's more in alignment and in tune with your personal energies, you can email me at intheroughcrystals@gmail.com. So again, happy holidays, everyone, and I will see you in January of 2018. Blessings.